Okay, I don't know if I'm live or not right now. Am I good? Okay. So we're just waiting. We're just having a couple technical difficulties right now, waiting for Sherry to get on. But I wanted to get you guys so pumped up and excited about meeting Sherry and Sean Brady. And they're just pulling over. They're trying to get where they're supposed to be. I'm in my car too, no makeup on. I love it. I just gave myself a facial this morning. Anyway, we're excited. I wanted to tell you a story while we're waiting for Sherry, to pop in. But the first time I met her, and a lot of us see the superstars up on stage and with a microphone, and they make it look so easy. I remember times when my hands would shake, trying to do a presentation. I'm, I'm trying to read that. Okay. And it's not, that's the finished product, you guys. That's the finished product. And I remember this one when I was just a brand new person in this industry, and I was sitting in the audience scared to death, but I wanted what they had. And the guy said, and I can't remember who it was, but you know what he said to me? He said, you know what? I've heard the word no so many more times than you everyone out in the audience. A million times more, a thousand million times more. And I didn't understand what that was all about. And he said, do you know how I know? Because I'm standing on this stage and you're in the audience. You've got to hear no and the struggles. And that's why, Christopher, just let me know when Sherry's on.
Sherry's on.
Oh, she is? Okay, I want to see her. Can I see Sherry? She's probably all prettied up. Okay, Jonathan says everybody can see both of us, but I thought I could see her too. I want to see her face. This is what's so different now about social media and being able to do videos. But hi, Sherry Brady. I can't see you yet. Can you see me?
I can. Can you hear me? Michelle?
Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Oh, you've got the fabulous new lipstick on.
I do. I put it on while driving, so it's not really straight, but I got it on.
Oh, awesome. You're one step ahead of me. I'm driving in my daughter's car right now, and I don't have my bag, but guess what? The show must go on.
Yes,
How are you?
Right.
How
We're
are
both
you?
in cars.
Is Sean there too? Is he driving?
There he is.
Hey, what's going on,
Oh,
Blondie?
awesome. How are you, superstar?
I'm fantastic.
Well, I wanted to welcome you guys to our call today, and we have got people all over the world on, and we're so fortunate to have you guys on today. And I wanted you to tell them, because the first time I met you, Sherry, I was just a newbie in new skin. I had no idea. I just knew that I just happened to marry one of the top leaders of the company, and nobody knew my name. They just knew me as Jonathan's wife. And I forgot, maybe it was Hawaii. I walked in the back of a bus and sat next to you. And I didn't know I was sitting next to the Sherry Brady, but you told me a story that you had just come out really of retirement after 15 years, and you'd walk down to the mailbox and get your check. And would you tell that story? Because that has left such an impression on me. Can you tell that story for us?
Yes, I started this. Actually, when I started this, I was married, but I was in a marriage that was on its way out. And so it wasn't long after I started it that I ended up a single mom with 4 kids. And I had 6 months to build before I ended up getting a divorce. And what I built in that 6 months, so it was difficult then to build, really hard to build, but what I built in that 6 months was enough to get me through the divorce. I wasn't working because I had so many other things to do, but I continued to get a check from what I had done before. And so I look at it now and I think to myself, oh my gosh, if I could have done it now with what we have going on now with the toothpaste, it would have been so much easier. If a mom can make $100 a month. That would have changed my life then. But the check I got life, and it made all the difference. And I saw New Skin. I was just introduced to the products and I was not interested in the business at all because I didn't think I could do it. And I didn't like that kind of businesses. And so I actually did not even use the product or call the person back for a very long time. And when I finally did use the product, I fell in love with it. I started showing it to people and they fell in love with it. And we created some huge volumes. I wasn't even signed up. I called the company from the number on the back of the jar. And I said, how would we buy this stuff? And they said, you have to sign up under someone. And so I told them the name of the guy that had sent me the stuff. They signed me up. And that's how I started this business. And then I went and saw Blake Roney, and everything he said went straight to my heart. I believed everything that he said, that he was going to do everything he said he was going to do. And
what year?
I talked about opening Japan, and I had never been out of the country. I knew no Japanese. I lived
Okay, did we lose Sherry?
I'm back on now.
Do you want me to pull over?
No, there's not.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can't see you, but go ahead.
Okay. So I left there wanting to do that, which was a hard thing for me. I mean, it was a big order for me because I came from a really, really small school. There were 6 kids in my graduating class. I had been a mom, not working. I didn't have a lot of contacts. I didn't like being in front of people. I never tried to do any kind of business. I had a lot of things against me, but I made a really clear decision that that's what was going to happen. I was going to do that. And so I now know that what I did was I created an intention. And so I would visualize myself in a stadium full of Japanese people and successful at business. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And so I ended up going to a convention. They were nothing like the conventions we have now. And I saw some people sitting at a table. It was Mark Mabry and his wife and John McClellan. And I just decided, I was sitting at a different table watching them in the same restaurant at a different table. And I decided next year I'm going to be sitting with those people, having fun with those guys. And so I had created another intention, and I didn't realize what I was doing, but I now know what I was doing. So anyway, it was difficult. There were a lot of difficult things happened. Sean and I were rarely working in the same country. We were broke. One night I had a big meeting of all the leaders in Sydney come to the house while Sean was in Thailand building over there. And we got to the front door and there was a notice on the front door that they had shut the power off. And so I grabbed that really quick and said there was a problem with the power. Well, we hadn't paid the bill. We just didn't have the money then. And said that there was a problem with the gas lines in the house or something, and we went someplace else. But there was stuff like that happen to us all the time. And I'm sure you've heard Sean's stories of sleeping on park benches and just being broke. And it was difficult. And I used to, when you would go to talk to people to recruit them, I would just get physically sick. I'd pick up the phone, I'd be shaking. And then when I had to talk in front of people, I went through the same thing. I would get sick, and I'd have to come out and do it anyway. I was scared the whole time I was building the business. Everything about the business scared me. But what I wanted from it, the vision, the intention was stronger than any of the fear. And so I just worked through the fear, and Sean did the same thing. He wasn't scared. He just had to work through all of the problems that we had and all of the financial burdens and working in different countries and being away from each other. It was all very difficult. But years later, it was about 5-6 years later, we got a call that our group in Japan wanted us to come and talk to them. And so we got on a plane with our newborn. She was about 3 months old then, and flew to Japan. And there was a problem. We were delayed on the tarmac. And so we got to Japan just barely in time to get to the meeting. And some people picked us up at the airport and raced us to this meeting. And they took us to the back of this building and said, go inside, go inside. And so we went inside, and there was a little round platform, and they said, get on that platform and get on that platform. There wasn't a lot of English going on, but there was pointing at the platform. So we went and stood on the platform, and then the platform started to raise. And when it got all the way to the top, we were in a stadium full of Japanese people, and they were all in our downline. Wow. And they were calling me the mama, grandma, and I have pictures where, there's a sea of dark-haired Japanese, and I'm the only blonde-haired person in that picture. But anyway, it was like I had a dream to the impossible. When I look back on it now, I think, what even made me decide to do that? But it happened, and it was worth every obstacle and everything that we went through to get to that point. And I understand now what I had done. So, how much time do I have, Michelle?
30 minutes usually.
Okay, so what I understand is that I had impacted the field. So you may have heard a lot about the 0 point field and not really understood what it is. And some of you might really understand what it is, but in between the smallest particles known to man, they always thought that was empty, that there was zero, there was nothing in there. And that's why they call it the 0 point field. So like in between, that empty space in between. And now quantum physics has proved that actually in that field is where everything's at. It contains enough energy in a cubic foot to launch rockets to the moon. And they think that anything that ever was created or ever will be created, the patterns are already there in the field for that. It already exists in the field. So it contains everything, like the history, the future. It contains energy. And the interesting thing about the field that quantum physics is finding so astounding is that the stuff in the field does not take shape until somebody focuses on it. And then it takes a different shape depending on the expectations of the observer. So they're talking about scientists. What did the scientists expect from it? And when they focused on it, they got different results depending on the expectation of the scientist. So what they now have proved is that when you focus on something intently, you actually impact the field and bring it to pass. So we've always said, what you talk about, you bring about. What you think about, you create. And it's always just been kind of mystical, like, that's how it happens. But now it's proved scientifically that is what happens. I mean, it's real. It's science. It's not just us or people saying that that's what happens. So how do you create an intention strong enough to impact the field? Is that you decide first what you want, and then you engage all five senses. So you take time every day to imagine your intention with all five senses engaged. So you would take time to imagine it. So for me, it was the talking to a stadium full of Japanese. The only stadium I had been in that I was thinking of was the one the convention was at. So I would put myself in that place with that sound. I could hear, and I tried to imagine touching things. So I knew what I was going. Yes, so I knew what I was going to have on, and I knew what it felt like because I had to. And you imagine things like receiving a big bouquet of flowers, and what does it smell like? What is some of the stuff that you do with these people taste like? Where did you go for dinner? You have to just engage those senses and make it so real that you could just step in and live it. And when you can do that, then you have something strong enough to impact the field. Then you have a real intention. So we all create goals, we all write goals, but how often do we actually accomplish our goals? And that's because lots of times the goals are in our head. And we don't take the time to move them to our heart. So stuff in your head, you don't actually create that. It's not strong enough to impact the field. You have to move those goals to your heart. And the heart field is strong enough to impact the 0 point field. And so once you do that, Michelle, you've talked to people who it doesn't even really matter what they say, because whatever they're saying is going, you're feeling it, and they believe it, and that they're going to do exactly what they say they're going to do. And those are people that are speaking from the heart. They have moved their goal or whatever they're doing from their head to their heart, and they're impacting you because it's you can feel it. The field is reaching to you. And then you've also heard people who talk from their head, and it's all about, statistics and numbers and what's happening and this and that. And it doesn't matter how good the words are, you're not getting it because it hasn't moved. You're not feeling it. It hasn't moved to your heart. And I think that's what I accidentally had done. I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but that's what I'd done. And the intention was strong enough to overcome all of the fear and all of the obstacles, everything else, because I had imprinted it onto the field. And so it was going to happen. Even in times when I felt like I was going to quit, it was still imprinted on the field. And so things would happen. I would get moved back into motion. And Sean had done the same thing. He is an incredible creator. When he decides on something, he creates an intention and then brings it to pass. And so we all have obstacles, even as easy as the business is right now, and we have never seen it this easy. It is, oh my gosh, it is the time to do new skin. And even as easy as it is now, you are going to encounter obstacles, people and changes in the product that we're moving, or changes in your life, or things that everybody has these programs they're running that they've got to overcome. Whenever you take on something big, all of your subconscious programming that holds you back is going to show up. It's going to hit the surface. And that's a good sign. That means you're on the right track. You're moving towards something great. And so you just keep going in that direction. And this is when you really need to have clear intentions. So what you want to do is every day take, 3 to 5 minutes and imagine what it is you want. I know it sounds too simple and silly, but if you take the time to really imagine what you want and feel it, and you'll get better at it every day. It'll come more and more to life. and it has to be moving, create moving pictures. Then you will start to create those things, and that intention is strong enough to overcome a lot of your subconscious programming, a lot of these things that hold you back, because the world is not going to hold you back. New Skin's not going to hold you back. It's everything that's inside that holds you back, and that's what you need intentions for, is to overcome that kind of programming. So, did you want to say something? Do you have anything to say about that, Michelle? Do you have any questions or anything? I mean, I can go on all day. I'm not sure where we are on timing or anything.
Well, one thing that really stood out, and I don't even have a pen on me, which I usually do, a pen and a paper, but one of the little nuggets that you said was that your vision was stronger than your fear. I love that.
Yep.
I mean, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that Sherry Brady told me this, because I think this is such a great call, what you shared with us, because everyone is afraid. And you aren't any, they see you on stage and they think that you just happen to be there. No, you did go through the struggles. And I love that you admitted how scared and frightened you were, and that you didn't even want to talk in front of people. And when you started, what year did you guys start New Skin?
90.
90.
Okay. Were there any cell phones, text messaging, video conferencing? No. You had none of that.
None.
No computers, no nothing.
No.
Nothing.
We didn't know what was going on in our group. We'd have to call to get volumes, and then you'd wait on the line forever to find out what your volumes are or to place an order. And you did not make money like you do in this one for quite a while. It took 4 months to become an executive. It didn't matter how good you were. It took 4 months to become an executive. There was no shortcutting the system. And we sent out big cassette tapes to people to explain the business to them. I mean, you couldn't just send them a link for a video. We'd send the big cassette tape, and then you'd have to hope that they'd send it back, because it got very expensive. And lots of times our phone bill was, higher than our check.
Or
So
that rent.
yeah, sometimes it was higher than our rent.
Wow.
So it was difficult. We did a lot of stuff with fax machines and mailing stuff and phone calls, and just to try and find out where people were doing meetings so you could send people to the meetings. There were phone calls that you could get on, and they'd say, well, so-and-so is going to go do a meeting here, and they're going to do a meeting there. And if you missed the phone call, you didn't know what was going on. So it was just a different kind of business.
Amazing. So right now it's all come full circle now. This is such an exciting time. Do you admit that this is the biggest, most exciting time in New Skin history? And the best is still yet to come. Don't you agree?
Oh my gosh, I can't even. So Sean and I have always worked on opening new countries, because we felt like the opportunity was in opening new markets. And so what I feel right now, and Sean feels the same way, is that we are opening the biggest market we will ever open in New Skin, and that is social media. Because there are no international boundaries. We had to separate and go to those countries to recruit people in other countries. You can do it through social media on your computer.
Yes.
And you can build anywhere in the United States. All of the obstacles that we had are gone. The money I had to borrow the money to get into this business. So I had to be dang sure that I was going to do it, because, I had to pay that money back. So there's no costs up front. And like I said, I used to almost throw up thinking about calling people and telling them about this business. That's gone. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff anymore. I had 4 kids. I used to have to hire babysitters to go do meetings, which I didn't have the money to do. All of the expenses and stuff, that's all gone. I mean, you can do it from home.
Just post.
all you have to do is post, and
Yeah.
anybody can do that.
Amazing. You guys have been such great friends to Jonathan and I, and we just love, spending time with you. And you just heard it, everyone, of how two people that literally were sleeping on park benches, right, Sean, had nothing.
Yeah, I was.
And you're almost $20 million money earners. Does that blow you away? I love that. Sherry Brady said her vision was stronger than any of her fears. And we just love you so much for sharing your time with us and your innermost, I love it. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. We think the world of you and Jonathan, and I think your group is so lucky to have you guys as leaders, because you're always on top of it. You're always excited. You're always enthusiastic, and you put all your energy and effort into it. And we just admire you and love you guys so much that we'd be happy to do anything for you and your group.
Oh, I know, I know that. We're like family now.
Yeah.
Well, you guys safely, and thank you so much. And I hope that this call can be played over and over again. If you feel like you're having a bad day, that it's never going to happen, remember how Sherry and Sean both struggled so much, because we're right there with you. Everybody, every team elite, every successful person in this company, we all have our struggles, don't we? Everyone.
Oh, everyone does.
Yep.
Yes. And everyone has those fears that they're not good enough, and it's not going to happen for them. And so just know, when those little things come up, every one of us have felt that.
I love it. Thank you, Sherry. Make your vision bigger than your fear. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Good job, honey. You killed it.